In this lesson, we'll build a control panel to go inside our capsule. So for the control panel, I just want a piece that kind of extends up over one side and kind of sits in front here with maybe a yoke attached to it. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just bringing in a primitive, and it's already in kind of the right spot. So let's just add a little bit of shape to it. I want to make it a little bit thinner here and pull it out a bit. Okay. And I also want to sort of rotate it in the Z. And actually, let's rotate it back a bit. Okay. Now I want to give it a few divisions or segments here. So let's see. Let me go ahead and turn on lines. I'm going to give it a few divisions, especially going in this direction. So we'll go 2, 2, and 3. All right. And now I want to begin adding a little bit of shape to this. Let's actually add one more in the Z. Let's go ahead and make this editable. And then I'm going to select the polygons on the ends. So these 4 polygons. Let's go ahead and scale those. And let's use an object axis. I'm going to go ahead and scale those, move them down a bit. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude. So let's do an extrude. And then I'm going to pull that down a little bit, and let's rotate it in the X. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scale it down a little bit. Let's do another extrude. I'm going to pull that down into the side of the capsule there. Something like that. I'm going to go ahead and delete the pieces on the end. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of shaping here. So I'm going to go get a rectangle selection, go to points, grab this end, move it down a little bit, maybe grab this and move it up. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab these points on the top. I don't want to just kind of push these in just a little bit. So something like that. Let's grab a hyperNURBS and drop it in to see what that looks like. Okay, it's kind of close to what I want. I might want to sharpen up the bottom a little bit. So in that case, I will just grab the cube, use the knife with loop mode on, and just hide everything and then add that loop in there. Now I also want to add kind of a yoke. So let's do that by adding another polygon cube. And then let's go ahead and scale it down just by using the handles. Okay, kind of move it into a rough position here. Okay, let's go ahead and without adding any segments, let's go ahead and just make this editable. Let's grab the polygon on the back. We will do a quick extrude inner. Then we'll do a quick extrude and another extrude and delete. Now let's go to the side. Select the polygons on the side. We want to create the handles coming out. So I'm going to do another extrude inner. Okay. And I want to pull down the scale. So we're doing both of these at the same time. Let's now do an extrude. A little bit to hold that shape. And then let's go ahead and do one more. And then one more. All right, now let's go ahead and grab the top and bottom of each one of these blocks that we pulled out. Okay, and now we'll go back and do extrude and pull that out. Can add a few divisions in there, and then we can go ahead and scale those in if we want to, and then we've got kind of a simple yoke. We can kind of rotate it, put it into position. Want to drop it into a hyperNURBS. We may need to add a little bit more resolution in certain areas, but you can see that it is pretty close to what we want. Go ahead and maybe scale it up a bit, get it in proportion there. Okay, so now that we've got our control console, you can add more detail to it, but this is going to be covered with a canopy as well, so I don't want to add too much detail. But you can see how quickly you can start to get detail in here just by extruding multiple times with the polygons that you're working with. Okay, so polygon modeling is a really powerful way of modeling. It's one of the most basic methods of modeling you'll find in any application. Cinema 4D does treat things maybe a little bit differently if you've used another application, but you can still get really good results here. A lot of the tools are a little bit different, but in their own way, they're really powerful. So as we start to get into more of the hierarchy-based workflow, you'll really start to see the power of the workflow that you're able to do here in Cinema 4D. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want sort of an apparatus at the top that our antenna is going to come from. So we'll go ahead and build that using some splines in the next lesson.